For this next piece, Colm was chosen to go to Killarney National Park to find out how potatoes were grown in the beginning of the 20th century. Something tells me this is going to be a really interesting story.
When it comes to traditions, we Irish are good at creating them and pretty good at preserving them too. I've come to Muckra's House Traditional Farm, located within the Killarney National Park, to find out how they are preserving the traditional methods of growing potatoes used here in Ireland. The farm offers visitors an evocative glimpse back to a time when farms and cottages had no electricity and farming was very labour intensive. So this is a working farm?
There are 3 working farms represented here. So you actually see the cows being milked, you see the fields being ploughed and harrowed, you see the crops being saved, you see the potatoes being planted. These are methods that, if we do not try and preserve them, will be lost forever.
Tim is a traditional farmer who works here on the farm, and it's his job to plant all the potatoes for each of the cottages. So when it comes to growing potatoes the old-fashioned way, it's him I should be talking to. And I want to find out how we've changed the way we grow, harvest and store our spuds over the last 100 years. So what's the difference in the planting of potatoes between the 1930s and now?
Well, back in the 1930s, they would make a lazy bed and you'd have a furrow left and right. You'd spread your farmyard manure, cover them over, and after about 3 weeks to a month, when the stalks started appearing, you'd dig your furrow and earth them again.
How long was it till you'd harvest?
You'd be digging your earlies around the first week of June. And you'd pull your stalk out of the ground, and if the stalk came up with no potato, you could dig away. You must keep the weeds off them. Make sure there are no weeds, because the weed will smother the stalk, and you can only have one crop in a lazy bed. And that's your potato, very important.
And was there a technique to storing them?
There was a technique to storing potatoes, of course, there was, of course. You pitted your potatoes in the field. You covered them with rushes or litter, which some people call. You put layers across the side of the pit, a layer on top, and then you come along and you dug the earth around the pit and you earthed the pit of spuds. Keep out frost, because if the frost got in or the rain got in, your potatoes would rot. Then come the springtime, they'd bring them into a shed and they'd cover them with coarse bags to keep the light off of them. Because if the light got at the spud, they'd turn green and they wouldn't be very nice for eating, you know. People long ago depended on that potato. So the main thing they had to eat was the potato. It kept people going.
In 1836, the Poor Inquiry Survey determined that 1 acre of potatoes could yield an average of about 6.5 tonnes. 1 acre could feed 6 people for a year, so it just goes to show the importance of the potato crop and how much people relied on a good harvest every year to feed themselves. But was there anything else that they could do with the excess crop? If you knew how, you made poaching. Poaching was generally produced in remote rural areas away from the interference of the law. People's reputations were built on the quality of their poaching, and many families became known for their distilling expertise. And who better to talk to than retired Garda Pat Lehan about what some of the locals got up to when it came to poaching.
It forced them to go out and build shanties in the mountainside, concealed it between banks of bog. The only thing that they really needed was running water, and they had plenty of water from the hillsides.
They must have had innovative ways of selling the poaching.
One individual, when he had a batch made, he would construct a scarecrow, and on the scarecrow he put a great big trench coat. He collected his money when he took the order, and he gave instructions to attend at the scarecrow at such a time and such a pocket he would find his bottle of poteen, and to get the hell out of the place as quick as he could after that.